National Association of Realtors is saying that this change will cause a 15 days delay in real estate closing. So if you used to close in 30 days, they are saying budget for 45. We are talking about some of the biggest changes that mortgage loan process has had in several decades. But is it really that bad? Hi, my name is Shashank Shekhar. I'm the founder and CEO of Arcus Lending. We are a mortgage company with offices in California and Texas. And I'm going to talk about TRID. It's TILA RESPA integrated disclosure changes that's coming on October 3rd, right this week, and the kind of changes it will bring to the real estate closing process and how you can prepare for it. So there are three big changes that's really happening. You can read all about it, but really all you need to know is the three big changes. And those three changes are, number one, the GFE is going away. We have been used to talk about good faith estimate for, for time immemorial, but we will not be saying GFE anymore. That's being replaced by a document called loan estimate. The second change that's happening is that the closing document, which we have been used to calling HUD, again from time immemorial, is going to change, and we are going to call it closing disclosure, or CD. So we'll have a loan estimate in place of good faith estimate, and we will have a closing disclosure in place of HUD. But the biggest change that's happening, and which is important for you to understand, is that there will be a 3 business day disclosure period for the closing disclosure. Now, what does that mean? That means that once the loan gets cleared for close, and that's how most lenders will do it, the buyers will have to wait for 3 days before they can sign their documents. So for example, if the loan is cleared for close on Thursday, you'll have to wait Friday, Saturday, and Monday, and they can only sign on Tuesday. And if something were to change, and those 3 things are, if the loan program were to change, the APR were to change by a certain margin, or if the prepayment penalty were to be added, then that closing disclosure has to be redisclosed, and the 3-day process begins from afresh. So these are the 3 biggest changes that you need to know about. So how does it impact you? The biggest impact that it will have is that you need to expect delays in terms of closing, because right now we are used to getting our HUD approved even, say, a few minutes before closing, before signing. But if you have 3 days to wait for, then count that 3 business days added to your total closing process. And if that closing disclosure has to be redone, then of course add further 3 days into the process. So in the first few months of implementation, when the lenders are also trying to figure out what is that the CAPV is asking us to do and what they're not asking us to do, budget for anywhere from a week to 10 days delay. As I said at the beginning of the video, National Association of Realtors is actually saying budget for 15 days of delay. Now, what is not changing is the fact that the time it used to take for the loan approval to come in and for the appraisal to come in, that will mostly remain the same. And there may be a day or 2 days delay here and there because there are no new disclosures and everybody is getting used to that process. But most of that will probably remain the same. So the biggest delay, again, is going to be with the signing process, with the closing, and that's something you should budget for. So how do you prepare for it? Get all the parties on the same page and tell them about these new changes that's happening that the CFPB is bringing to the industry. And they are doing it, of course, for the betterment of our buyers, because they want them to be more prepared for something like this. And by the way, this also applies to refinance transactions. And make sure that the terms of the contract is realistic, especially in the first few days after it gets implemented, because most of the people are still trying to figure out. So it goes live on October 3rd. I'll say probably till the end of this year, even early next year, budget for about 7 to 10 days additional time period for closing. And after that, I think most people will get a hang of it, and we may get away with, say, 3 to 5 days delay from what we are used to now. That's all that you really needed to know about TRID. I know you would have seen a lot of emails and videos maybe on this topic, and they are probably hours long, but really all you need to know is that make sure you align with a loan officer and lender who understands what TRID is and what it impacts you and how to make sure that the impact is minimal. And if you do that and understand what I just talked in the video, I think you'll be fine. TRID is not a 4-letter word, which a lot of people are making it to be. So make sure that you understand how it works, make sure to align all the parties, make sure to budget for some extra days in closing, and I guess all of us would do just about okay. And if you still have any questions, I'm just a phone call or email away. Thank you for watching the video and hope the transition works very well for you and your team.